Welcome back to Potatoes. Rutanka coming at you again for episode 11 of Empyrion Galactic Survival in Alpha 6. Had a pretty good weekend myself. Hopefully the other fathers out there did as well. It was quite busy actually because my town actually has a festival on Father's Day weekend right on the green, which in my case is about 100 yards away, so I spent quite a bit of time down there. Aside from time with both of my daughters, one of whom actually stayed with me for the weekend, the other of which made a lasagna for me, which was very good. Little better than the lasagna I tend to cook, because I buy the ones that you put in the microwave for 5 minutes and then eat. So, kind of run of the mill, not really high quality, you know what I'm saying, I'm sure. But with that said, I have been playing a bit in the background, though I have not done any recording over the weekend. As you can see, as we pull up my character sheet here, I'm now level 25. And at the end of the last episode, I believe I made comment that I wasn't sure if we would have enough points to fill everything out. When I first hit level 25, I did actually spend all the points I could and filled all the schematics out in every vehicle type and miscellaneous and all that. At the time, I had roughly 130 points remaining, but as you can see now, after doing some additional mining and such in order to fill up our ship with inventory, I now have 468 points, so we must earn points even beyond max level. So there are plenty to spare, so there is no shortcoming as far as filling out everything that you would like to unlock, including all the passenger and multiplayer points, which is a nice addition. They apparently have rebalanced the skill trees with it. With that said, you can see here in our ammunition box that I have all of them close to full. Not quite, but pretty close. So we have plenty of ammunition to make our trip. In addition to that, I have also made some additional fuel. I did take a trip to the moon again. Still can't mine for whatever it's worth in 612. However, I did go there primarily to retrieve more of the pentaxid so I could make more fuel to warp, just so I wouldn't have to be concerned about obtaining additional fuel at the other end of the trip to make sure we could get back. So we have approximately 300 or so of the pentaxid fuel or warp fuel for the game. Now it is nighttime here as we're landing, but I have both ships, both the SV and the HV on the CV, I should clarify. So at this point, all we need to do really is power up the engines and depart ourselves to space. So in the control panel, which I'll turn the movement on. This will turn the weapons on as well. I don't recall turning the ground weapons off, but obviously I did. Oops. And I should look at the constructors to see if the pentaxid is actually done. If so, I will power those down as well. Let's see, the one constructor. And it looks like those are in fact complete. Very good. So, save a little power there. Oops, wrong key, rat. Good job. Main constructors. Everything's going. So up and out we go. Off to Aitis. And now as we've arrived to space, we'll go ahead and open our system map, or sector map, excuse me. I know the first step will be to go to Skillion, because Aitis is roughly right about here, but it chains through Skillion, so we will lock target on that and head the right direction, so we can therefore hit the K key to activate our hyperdrive and be on the way. Looks like I actually have two. Oh, I have Aqua still, so it's the other one naturally. There it is. And as we warp to Skillion, I will also say that we have, or actually I returned to the village, which I finished wrapping up, I think it was actually last episode, but that has not respawned any of the creature spawners, etc. So it's possible that the regenerative bases are only for the enemy points of interest. We'll have to continue testing. I will hit some of those very soon, but for the moment my primary objective is to continue gaining all the resources we need to get the cemetery. As you saw in the preface, that is the target, because that will be a very complete ship and will function as the main part of my gameplay from this point forward. However, I do intend to follow through and make the corpse that space base as well, but at this time I have not yet decided where I'm going to build it. Being that we already have one ship down, I may actually spawn the graveyard in the location I'd like to put the base, so we do not have to do multiple warps, but I've yet to decide where that will actually be. And all that babbling aside, as we come in here on our final approach to Skillion, I am remembering that that's actually not our destination. We want to go to Aitis. Silly me. So let's go ahead and open the sector map once again. And now we can see Aitis here. So we will lock that guy. Head towards it, and once again hit the K key to do our warp. I believe we still have enough fuel. If not, I have plenty more that I can add in the tank. There we go, and we're off. Aitis is actually a lava-based planet, so it will be quite warm. Hopefully I have enough range on my suit currently, because I do not have any additional boosts, but even if not, that will be okay, because I do intend to basically do the mining from the mining vehicle, as we will not need to be concerned about oxygen and things like that while we are inside, much like I did maybe 2/3 of the way through Season 1 or so. I intend to land this capital ship right on top of a deposit and then just mine from underneath. So I'll go down to the planet and do a fly around, likely in the small planet, but I will bring you back in once I have located a good location to start our mining. So here we are down on the planet. As I'm looking at the resources, it appears that Zascosium is no longer present on this planet. They have, of course, shifted a number of things with Alpha 6. We can still get the Erestrum here, Sathium as well, which is good since we can't get it on the moon of Aqua. Promethium and gold actually is the other that we have available. So I think what I will do in that case is just get some gold and Erestrum, which we do have available rather near the trade station. So that should allow us to have access to those without too many baddies. But as you can see, as I'm flying around, there actually are quite a few drones and the like that have been in the area and shooting. The guns will be continuing to shoot, no doubt. Let's see, you need to go to the south. Should really set a marker, I suppose. It'd make it a little bit easier. but our guns are shooting like crazy, clearing out drones. Let's go ahead. I'm gonna mark the Erestrum because that's really the more important one. However, gold will be nice so we can get some of the credits to purchase things from the traders if we need to. Go ahead and we'll set this as that icon and mark it. Very good. I was heading the correct direction apparently, however it was just a little out of sight to show up on the radar as yet apparently. There we go. Should be able to set us down. Still 100 meters away. Of course I can't see because it's dark, but I'm going to go ahead and just set us down on the ground even if it's not flat. And I will bring you in when it is light again. I'll just sit here and wait for a few moments. Looks like about 3.5 hours game time, which of course is not actual time. It's a common confusion about the time in the top right there is that is not 2 minutes and 46 seconds. It's actually 2 hours and 3 minutes now of game time. However, I have noticed that they have increased the rate at which game time passes. When I first started playing, it was roughly 6 seconds per minute on that clock. But as you can see, it's clicking down much quicker. I would say it's about 3 seconds? Let's see. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, it's about 3 seconds. So the time goes approximately twice as fast as it once did. But I'll see you back when it's light. And daylight has arrived. Now we can see actually that we're pretty close. Certainly still, oh look at that, a rock storm. I think I'll wait inside for those to finish falling. And who knows, perhaps we will have Zascosium because they do spawn some meteors. But while I was waiting for daylight to arrive, I did take a look and to find that the only planet that is pretty much guaranteed to have the Zascosium now is Masperon Moon. It used to be on Masperon back, a year ago or more. However, since they made Masperon a starting planet, that was geared more towards the starting resources. So they moved the Zascosium to the actual moon. The convenient part about that, however, if you look in our sector map, is we are here on Aitis, but Masperon, as well as the moon, obviously, is actually adjacent to us, so that will be a relatively quick warp to go nearby. And once we get there, I believe it puts a warp link to the trading outpost here, so we can go there and then bounce back to Aqua much quicker using that route. So with that said, let's go ahead and land the graveyard down on the ground here. Do it a little ways back so we can hopefully get at it. I think I'll actually spin a little as well, because the ground is not exactly flat here. It is kind of on a hill. Very much on a hill, actually, judging by the way I land. Things like the haze make it difficult to see at times, but that's quite alright. That's just the nature of the planet. Let's see. We can get up and rotate us back off a little. You'll also see on the ground there are some of the brewed promethium crystals on this planet, so we will be able to get some additional fuel as well. Though, as I said a few moments ago, I know we do not actually need that to reach our destination, but can never have too much resources if you ask me. That's the Packraft style after all. Okay, go ahead and shut the movement off. We'll leave the ground weapons on. I think that's all we will need for the moment. And go down and get in the ladybug. And here we go out to mine the green. Here in the US, that's pretty much synonymous with getting money because our cash is green. I know many other countries have different colors and coinage and the like. But that said, it is pretty synonymous for getting the green. But right in front of us here is the Erestrum. Get about 3,000 out of this particular node, which would be plenty. I believe we need about 160, I want to say, for our craft. But as we start digging down this direction here, we got about 30 meters to go, of course. But we'll get some stone in the process as well. We will get down to the green in a moment and fill up with a restroom. And there's the Erestrum. See how green it is? It's kind of hard to mistake this ore in the game because it is the only green ore that the game does possess. And you've seen me mine, so I won't waste time with that, of course, but I'll go ahead and clear this resource out and then move on with you. Well, I find this interesting. As I was mining, I died. I was within the vehicle. There's nobody nearby. As you can hear, the capital vessel is still shooting at the enemies, but somehow I was taking damage. I have to take a look at the ship. I know this is a PvP world, so there can be some damage created. My backpack fell underneath here, I saw, but I don't even see that now. Hopefully I didn't lose all of my items. That's kind of a nuisance. There it is. So I'm not sure what happened to my health there. I'll have to keep an eye on that as we continue to mine. Let's see, is there any... Yeah, I don't even see any damage on the ships. The drills are all okay. I wonder how I was getting hurt. That doesn't make sense to me. I wonder if I botched... I think I had oxygen. Let's see. There's oxygen here. Make sure the oxygen... Okay, well, the oxygen is off. I wonder maybe if I just didn't run out of oxygen. Little snafus. See if I can figure out what happened. If I do, I'll let you know. But aside from that, I will simply continue at this point. Another interesting thing that I haven't noticed previously, again, I'm not certain if that's the planet we're on, but I am noticing that it is actually requiring stamina to mine in a mining vehicle. I'm not certain why I would be getting tired from sitting in a cockpit seat, but apparently that is the way it now operates. And food is still dropping a little bit. The oxygen at least has not, now that I turned it on. You know I'm going to have to look back at the previous video clip to find out where I had left myself, but I really did not think I was that close to low food or oxygen at the time, but I suppose it is possible. I am also looking, however, that I do see that I am too hot, so maybe it's the temperature that may have been what nixed me. I thought that having the oxygen on would compensate for that. However, it apparently no longer does when you're sitting in a cockpit seat. So I think that's probably likely what actually caused my death a few moments ago. Because heat, being too hot, does in fact reduce your health. So I must have been beyond my comfort range. As you can see, it is climbing, so I think I'm going to be intelligent here. Believe if I can get us out and get back in the ship to recover my body temperature back to where it should be and out of danger, because soon I am going to end up hurting. I do not have much in the way of heat protection because I am still using the small armor along with just a couple of the EV suits. And I managed to get the ship stuck in here. Good job. I can't move. Oh, I'll just shut it off. But yeah, I now have the ship stuck in place, so... A little bit buggy where I landed, apparently, as far as that's concerned, but that's relatively minor. Now that we're inside, at least, we do have some radiation, so I will go up and use our shower. Oops, wrong way up, right? I'll go ahead and heal up a little bit and then continue the process. Well, I've definitely run into a snag here. As I mentioned a moment ago, I was stuck. I've actually exited the game. I actually turned the engines on in the capital vessel, and when I try to move, it says, quote, "There is not a docked ship in your ship. You cannot fly." Yet, I cannot make this move either, so perhaps I will have to disassemble a few blocks around it to uncatch it from whatever it's stuck on. But I think that's kind of a strange message. In past versions, if you had a non-docked ship and you flew away in the CV, it would actually leave the undocked ship behind wherever it happened to be standing. Just running up to the cockpit now, and I will show you the message, as it does appear to be a little bit erroneous. It seems as well that something may have been lost in translation because it's not quite proper English. But if we take a look up top right there, you see there is not a docked ship in your ship. Flying is not possible. There we go. I knew I wasn't quite accurate. That's what I had to say, so go down and see what we have to actually disassemble. We do have the multi-tool on us, so let's go ahead and disassemble mode. I'll get rid of the things that are right up front. This particular capital vessel is only a temporary measure, of course, so if it does not end up perfectly, that's okay, but we'll go ahead. Let's see, get rid of this. Ship hasn't moved. We'll get rid of the oxygen generator. Doesn't appear to be caught on that. Maybe the light block. Get rid of this one as well. That leaves a hole in the bottom, but it does still appear to be stuck as it hasn't moved at all. Do this without falling. That's the tricky part. I know you've all seen me jumping around trying to land on target before, and I'm doing as good as ever in that regard. Just don't understand what the silly thing is caught on, but until worst case, I'll just disassemble the silly thing and remake it, but until I can get this unhitched from capital vessel, I cannot move either vehicle. There we go. So now we're moving. That's odd to me. I'm wondering what I got caught on. Let's lower us a little, but little rebuilding in order apparently before I finish up here. But we still need to go finish mining that Erestrum node, which will be plenty to make the majority of our ships before I go nuts on just raping resources on every planet wherever I go. There we go. Had to finish up the last little bit just with a regular mining drill because there was a few floating nodules, which often occurs. And as you can see, I reassembled this little thing here, but I do not have my texture or color tool with me, so I'll just repaint those when we get back to planet. Actually taking a little bit of damage here and there as I've come along because there are a lot more things shooting at us on this planet than there are on Aqua. But perhaps it's time to actually place a repair module within the large residential facility where I'm currently living on Aqua. But with that said, we now have about A little over 3,000 of the Erestrum, so that ore is now taken care of. We'll go ahead and grab some gold while we're here, like I was saying, just more for kicks. That is not as essential. And then we'll head over to Masperon. And here we are, rinse, repeat, basically, just for the gold before we do depart the planet. Down the hole here. Should just be a few more meters, and then we will see the yellowish color of the gold ore. There it is. So that will get us some gold ore so we can buy some goodies from the traders. Go ahead and finish this up. Shouldn't take long. This is only about 100 and something ore, which is enough for a taste, but for now that will be enough until I go crazy. Again, as I said before, and do my pack rat scenario. Small ores like this do not take long, or small deposits I should say, because it was only 126. There we go. Just get out, get back in, because I'm already getting too warm. You can see my body temperature in the top right there is now at 100, so I am going to begin taking damage very shortly. Actually was in and out several times as I was doing the Erestrum, since that was a much larger deposit, of course. Now we can land this guy here. Click. Shut it off. We'll close the door. Did take a little bit of damage on it, of course, but that's just the nature of a PvP planet. They do take damage as they harvest. This ladybug is still in the generic, the basic steel plates, so they do not have as many hit points as the hardened steel, which the next ladybug, basically the rot I call it, will have, which we'll have on the next planet. Up we go, and I managed to do it before taking damage at 110 degrees. Kind of wonder where the cutoff for damage is actually, but at the moment I'm not concerned about it because now we're in a controlled environment, so we should be just fine. And there we have it. Just looking at the map, I just noticed here too that apparently there have already been some meteorites dropped for Saphium and Promethium. I'll have to double check as I'm doing my editing, but if I'm not mistaken here, there are actually a few more deposits of some of the ores than there were when we first landed. But when that's said, we're all closed up and buttoned up, so off we go to space once again. Here we go. So now, go ahead and lock target on Masperon, 24 AU away. Head over towards the orange arrow, down this way. Being that it's behind us, we're probably going to have to fly around the planet. I can see that coming. I don't know why I seem to have a habit of coming up on the wrong side of the planet every time I want to go somewhere else. It's just my luck, you know. Should probably keep an eye on the asteroids as well, because I think it's likely that some of the asteroids may have them, because we do have the mining drill on this ship, of course, so it's quite possible we may actually find some in an asteroid. But I think we're going to be in sight to just go ahead and hit K before anything shows up on the radar, as we are now. So off we go to warp. And now that we've arrived at Masperon, we can open the sector map, and yeah, see, now we can actually go directly to the trading post from here to relay to Aqua, so the trip home will be fairly easy actually. And that said, there's Masperon and the Masperon Moon, so we'll set this as a waypoint. Not sure what that icon is, but we'll use it, why not? just to make sure we get the right spherical object. With my luck, I would have landed on Masperon first to realize that I was in the wrong place. We'll go ahead and forward up to here, and I'll bring you back in once I've located some more. And here we are on the planet. I've not actually located any as yet, but certainly enough, here is Zascosium located on this planet. Looks like it gives us 12 with this seed, so that should not be too complicated to find any. Do a little flying around. Guns are still going crazy, shooting at this, that, and the other thing. Being that I do not see any drones on the radar, I imagine it is just hostile wildlife, much like it was on Aitis. And with luck, though, we should be getting a spawn of the resource very soon. There's a resource, Promethium. Okay, that's the wrong one, but they are appearing close enough to the ground. Never sure about that, because sometimes there's another Promethium. Sometimes if you're too high up, it does not always, it reduces the range, or the radius on the ground, I should say, from your current location, because the scanner is basically a spherical scanner. So the closer you are to the surface, the closer or the easier it will be to actually spread at a longer distance. There's a minigun drone, which I'm sure the ship will take care of for us as we get closer. Down it goes, very good, because we are virtually over. So we'll back up a little bit, but here's a Zascosium deposit. And it's nearly 11,000, well, 10,000 I guess. Go ahead and turn us around so we're facing it for the belly, because that is the way we exit the ship, of course. Put the ship down. See how the climate is on this planet. Go ahead and shut the motors off once again. And out we go. And then we will see what the resource, or rather what the climate is on this planet, so we'll see how long we can go before I have to start running back and forth to heal up and let my body recover from adverse environments. Before I do that, I'm going to run over and loot that drone, or am I? No. There's a drone right on top of us somewhere here. There it is. Because parts is parts, after all. This is a large one, so it does have the chance of having things like the power coils and such, I believe. But in this case, it does not. That's alright. We'll still take the parts. I'll go ahead and start mining the Zascosium and bring you in when we see it, so you can see the color of that, and then we'll move on. And here it is. As I think I said last season, rather, it's pretty much like Christmas. It's a red and green mix. I doubt I will do this entire node, because that's about 11,000. That's quite a bit more than we will need for everything. At the moment, I'm more interested in getting enough to build up our fleet as we want to do. Fill up the other capital vessel once I create it. There are several vessels I will be creating for that, and of course among them will be the better of the mining vehicles, which you did see earlier this season, the Mummy. That one is completely climate controlled inside, so this stuff with the temperature and all that will not be causing issues. This planet is not nearly as bad as the lava-based planet Aitis was, as you can see, but it is a bit on the warm side. My temperature is still in range, however I am still getting the red warning for the radiation, because it's a little more than my current suit can handle, which is okay, because I will still be able to get plenty and return to the ship in time to take a shower and wash the radioactive stuff out of my system. Just go ahead and mine a bunch of this. then start heading home. Okay, we have what we need. Take a look in our harvest module here. See how many we have. I believe I got about 6,000. 1, 2, 3, oh, 6,000. 100 gold, and yeah, about 3,500 of the Erestrum, plus a couple thousand stone, which is towards the base. So another comment I would like to make, however, before I launch this off, is that you'll notice my oxygen is actually going down still, even though the oxygen is turned on. Apparently the open cockpits no longer work as far as draining from the oxygen tank. As you can see, it's still at 100%. I haven't used any of the oxygen. I can, of course, use the oxygen module, which is in this HV, but as it is, I am actually using my personal oxygen the way it is currently operating. Need to repair this guy too when we get back to Aqua, I would say. Go ahead and put her down. And there's the click. Very good. Get out. Before I do anything, I'll go ahead and fill with the oxygen there just to top that off. And hit the Y key, and that should shut it off. Very good. Just button up the belly. Head to space, and then be back home. Here we are, rising out of the green mist. That's actually not the barrier. As you know, there is a vertical barrier from north to south, but every time I try to fly up forward, I end up going at crazy angles. So this time I just hit the space bar and went straight up. But with that said, we can go ahead and hit the sector map. And we will choose, because we cannot go, yeah, we can't go directly to Aqua, I don't think. It's 37 AU, I don't believe we can go there. No, I can't lock target, so no, I cannot. We'll go ahead and lock the trade station too. Head towards that and then warp. Now, I'm also occurring to me that I may want to place my base in the trade station, since that is a fairly central location. Since we're going through there with this trip, we may take a look around just to see what's what there. I know there's an asteroid field, and there it is in front of us. But this might be a decent location to place the corpse. Look at the map. There is nothing here except the basin. So actually it's over here, because it is a trading post, but that will also allow us to use our gold as we are there. So while we're here, I am going to fly over a bit closer to it, just to make sure it is not an aggressive station. If it is, we'll bunk out quick, but that would be a good thing to know, in my opinion. I'm also not certain if these asteroids have resources in them. I imagine they likely do, as most asteroid fields do, but I am not certain, because this zone is basically considered neutral territory, I believe. If you look on the map, I think I don't think it's a PvE. Yeah, it is PvE zone, which means the vehicles will not take damage. I would prefer to put my space base in a PvE zone, because you've seen how I fly, and I will end up damaging either a base or one of the vessels as I am crashing down to the surface. I can see that with a fair amount of certainty. So okay, there are drones flying about, which is fine. We don't care about those as far as the base is concerned, since they all have them. Just turning now to kind of turn, see if I can pick one or two off, maybe get some of the other goodies, but short work in the vessel, of course. see, get just about in the right location. There we go. I'll go ahead and loot that guy as we approach. Much easier, the capital vessels, especially for drones, than it was even in the small vessel, for obvious reasons, I would think, with all the guns. But even there, this ship does not have a full complement. It just has the 16 guns or 18 guns, whatever it is. But I had noted in the Aqua system that the drones were not appearing. I killed the 4 to craft this vessel, but after that I have not seen another one up there since, and I have done a runaround when I went up to the planet. So I am not certain if they do not respawn in that zone. I believe they do on the planets, but there is no actual drone base that I saw, so that is just another comment that I've been kind of curious about. I'm trying to discover if they do actually respawn, or if they are use once and you're all done kind of scenario with them. What I really should do is turn the map on while I'm there, just to take a look. Okay, there's an asteroid. Sathium asteroid, actually. So while we're here with more Sathium, I know we need a bunch in order to spawn the next ship, so I think what I will do is just pull up tight with the capital ship here, and I will mine the Sathium that is on this asteroid before we continue. We can do that simply by getting in the mining drill here, which I need to turn it on first. And drill on, there we go. And let's see, harvest. Isn't it in harvest? Yeah, here it is. And the harvest drill turret access. There we go. Get the right angle. I'm not sure if we're actually hitting Sathium. Yes, we are. There's Sathium right there. So, as I said, I'll mine some of this, and then we shall continue. Well, I finished mining that asteroid. As you can see, I got about 3,500 worth of Sathium ore, plus, about 15,000 at a glance of the crushed stone. Because, as you may recall, we will need a lot of stone for the corpse as well, at 60,000, so we'll go ahead and get a jump on that. But I also wanted to keep going on the Sathium, because as we look at the cemetery, you can see I actually will need about 17,000 of that, so I'm still going to need to acquire another 1,000 or so Sathium from somewhere, or 10,000 I should say. But while I was mining, in front of us of course was a trade station. See if we can get in between these rocks and over to it. But as you can see, that is the blue color, so it is a safe base, so that will not be an issue in this area. I know there are a few drones flying about, but that's fine. Let's see what kind of... Hey, there's more Sathium. Maybe I'll mine that rock out as well. Ooh, and that one, a couple. There are several here, so that's good to know. I think I've had enough Sathium mining for now. You saw the amounts of resources that I actually did harvest. That is, it's probably been about an hour and a half or so, although I will admit that I did take a break for a phone call in the process, so I'm not sure how long I was actually spending on the drill itself. Regardless, we now have Aqua listed and ahead of us, so we'll go ahead and warp back to our home planet. That is, once I put more of the fuel in. Okay, try this again. And now when I hit it, we should go back. There we go. And off to our warp. So I think the last thing I will resolve for this episode will just be to repair the hover vehicle as well as the capital ship, both of which took some damage in the mining process, the capital ship, because there were some enemy bases shooting at me, and they're not exactly agile enough to avoid all of the gunfire. And the miner, simply because it was taking damage from the rocks, which is not uncommon. So we'll go ahead and bring us back down and see if I can manage to land it on the base. So here we go on final approach. Let's see how many of the buildings I can take out when I crash land on the pad. I'm pretty sure it's going to be big enough to fit. We'll have to see, but we'll know in just a moment, won't we? Let's see. Zero in, straighten out. I got to use the larger pad, of course. Down we go. Let's see if I can get an appropriate camera view to hit it fairly straight. I wonder if we're going to fit or if it's going to hit. I'm not even sure because I haven't actually tried this before, even though I have had this base before, and I've had this ship in with this base before. It may be too big, in which case I will just have to repair things with the multi-tool as opposed to using the base. Don't turn, rat. No, wrong key, rat. Of course, if I hit the right keys, it would probably help too, huh? With the flight and such. I think we can put it right down here. There we go. Down. Is it gonna work? It's actually sitting on the building, isn't it? Yeah, it sure is. Well, maybe I'll make a dummy base instead, just to throw a repair module on. As I'm exiting the ship as well, just like to point out that apparently my remodel that I had done is not quite right for the growth areas. Luckily, it appears none of the plants had died. You can see I have the ventilator down there. However, when we were in space, as soon as I step off of these two blocks, here and here, the growth areas actually had no oxygen, so the plants stopped growing, even though they were under the light, because they do need an oxygenated atmosphere, of course. However, now that we're back on Aqua, as you can see, there is in fact oxygen, so hopefully these will continue growing. This ship is not too much longer for this world, and I know the growth plots in the cemetery certainly work, and we have ridiculous amount, literally hundreds, in the base itself. So that will not be a shortcoming as far as growth is concerned. That said, though, right now I'm just going to run over and throw together some concrete blocks and a basic generator, the basics for a small temporary base. Home, rat, not the village. So I will make that and drop the ship on there, and then we can repair up before we finish. Of course, the other thing that occurs to me is that if I do that, in order to get it to repair, you need to power down, so I will also need to empty the refrigerators and put the stuff that's inside elsewhere to prevent them from being lost or rot, although it will not take long, so I can probably get away for it for a few minutes. So I'll make those blocks up, slap the base down quickly, and then we'll be back. So here we go. As you can see underneath us, I have set up a small platform, basically is all it is, with a repair bay and a couple of refrigerators. I will empty the refrigerators in there before I actually shut the power off on this. With luck, we can get it lined up so it docks. I think that will work. I think that'll do it. I don't know. What I do know, though, is that I'm okay. The world's all wrong. It's just a matter of perspective, after all. I thank everyone for watching, and take care.